I welcome you all in this session of hydraulic machines. As we know, the limitation of single acting reciprocating pump that it delivers intermittent or pulsating discharge. This difficulty is overcome by using double acting reciprocating pump. So double acting reciprocating pump consists of two suction pipes and two delivery pipes. Let's say this is suction pipe number 1, suction pipe number 2. This is delivery pipe number 1 and this is second. Now other remaining working of the parts are same. So when piston moves towards right, the volume of liquid towards left of piston increases, that will drops the pressure, and that's why the suction valve in the suction pipe number 1 get open and liquid get admitted inside the cylinder. At the same times, due to the movement of piston towards right, whatever liquid is available here in its previous stroke gets pressurized. Due to this pressure, the delivery valve at delivery pipe number 2 get open and liquid with high pressure get discharged from the delivery pipe number 2. So this is for first stroke of the piston. When piston moves towards left, due to the movement of piston, at the back side of the piston the volume of working medium increases, that drops the pressure below atmospheric pressure. That's why suction valve in the suction pipe number 2 gets open and liquid from sump is enters or sucked at the back side of the piston. At the same time, towards left side of the piston the liquid get pressurized and delivery valve in the pipe number 1 get open and liquid with high pressure get delivered from the delivery pipe number 1. In this way, we will be getting discharge by both the strokes of the piston. So in this way, we will be getting the continuous discharge by using double acting reciprocating pump. Now let's see the discharge of double acting reciprocating pump. Now we are going to use capital D for diameter of cylinder or diameter of piston. Small d is the diameter of piston rod. Here there is a difference in the areas of the piston towards left and towards right. Towards left, area or cross sectional area of the piston is pi by 4 capital D square. However, towards right side of the piston, some of the area of the piston is occupied by piston rod. So the net area, cross sectional area of the piston which comes in contact with working medium is going to be less, which is shown over here. Area on one side of the piston, that is towards left, becomes pi by 4 d square. However, towards right side of the piston, area becomes pi by 4 d square, that is cross sectional area of the piston, minus pi by 4 small d square, that is cross sectional area of the piston rod. So A1 becomes pi by 4 into d square minus small d square. Now volume of water delivered in one revolution of crank. Here volume at left side and volume of liquid towards right side is different. Towards left side, A is the area multiplied by stroke length is same, plus A1 is the area towards right multiplied by stroke length. So L is common, can be taken outside, and the formula becomes A plus A1 into L. We know the value of A and A1. Let's put here and we will be getting the expression of volume of water delivered. Therefore, discharge of the pump per second is equal to volume of water delivered in one revolution multiplied by number of revolutions per second. So here we put this expression here and we'll be getting the expression for discharge of the pump per second. Now if the diameter of piston rod becomes very small, even in some cases it can be neglected. So when small d becomes 0, we'll be getting twice of pi by 4 d square. So the formula of discharge becomes twice a ln upon 60. From this expression, it is clear that discharge in double acting reciprocating pump is twice of discharge from single acting reciprocating pump. Now let's find out expression of work done per second or power required by double acting reciprocating pump. As we know that work done per second is evaluated from weight of water delivered multiplied by total height. So we know what is the weight of water to be delivered. So weight is mass into gravity. Work done per second is equal to mass into gravity upon time. So that is mass flow rate. Mass flow rate is rho into q, and q becomes twice of a ln upon 60. Total height is nothing but summation of suction head and delivery head. So the formula becomes twice of rho g into a ln upon 60 into total height is the summation of suction head and delivery head. Whatever formulas we have seen in the single acting and double acting reciprocating pumps, the discharge is belongs to theoretical discharge, but in actual practice, actual discharge is always less than theoretical discharge due to leakage losses. The difference between theoretical discharge and actual discharge is called as slip. Slip is most frequently expressed in terms of percentage of slip, which is evaluated by Q theoretical minus Q actual upon Q theoretical into 100. By mathematical simplification, we can write 1 minus Q actual upon Q theoretical into 100. We know that ratio of actual discharge to theoretical discharge is called as coefficient of discharge. So percentage of slip can be calculated as 1 minus CD into 100. To understand the terminology used in single acting and double acting reciprocating pump, let's solve one simple example. A single acting reciprocating pump running at 50 rpm. So rotational speed of the pump is given, n is 50 revolution per minute, delivers 0.01 meter cube per second. So actual discharge is given, diameter of piston, that is capital D, 200 mm, and stroke length capital L is 400 mm. We have to find out the theoretical discharge of the pump. The theoretical discharge of the pump can be evaluated by A ln upon 60, wherein A is the cross sectional area of the piston, that is pi by 4 into d square. So by putting all the values into this equation, we will be simply getting the theoretical discharge. We know that coefficient of second problem is to determine the coefficient of discharge, which is equal to ratio of actual discharge to theoretical discharge. Let's put these values and we will be getting CD equal to 0.955. The third problem is to find slip. Slip is the difference between theoretical discharge and actual discharge, equal to 0.0047 meter cube per second. And also we have to find out the percentage of slip, which is equal to theoretical discharge minus actual discharge upon theoretical discharge into 100, or else you can use the formula 1 minus CD into 100. So here we'll stop. Thank you.